Now. So, alrighty, welcome back everyone. Again, I hope everyone's enjoying their day. So we're about to get started with our next presenter, and we're here now with Manasi from Brew Story. So Manasi is a lifelong learner and serial entrepreneur, a professional dentist, a counsellor, a health educator, a health promotion officer, and an occasional cafe designer. One of her most enduring interests has been food and drink. She'll never tire of looking at, learning about, cooking and sampling piquant dishes and beverages from around the world. During these happy food adventures, she spotted a gap in the market, so she decided to offer a part of her tradition and share family recipes prepared in her family kitchen for ages to be easily made and enjoyed in your kitchen. So hence the founding moment for Brew Story. So everyone, please welcome Manasi.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Can't see all of you. I wish I could. But thank you for having me here. And yeah, Beck here did a beautiful introduction for myself. And I thought I might come and talk to you about our products and especially chai. So I'm very, very passionate about chai. I drink chai almost all day. And of course, there's a special way of making it. So I thought I'd share that. But even before I shared the brewing of chai, I thought I'd talk to you about where the chai comes from. And as you would know, chai has a lot of spices in it, and then each spice added to a chai has a special meaning to it and has health properties to it as well. So all the spices added to a chai are not just there for flavor, but they are there for a reason, and the reason is to maintain our health and well-being. So I'll take you all through a little PowerPoint here. So bear with me for a second. I hope you can see the PowerPoint slides. Sorry, this is a new technology for me, and at the moment, all I'm doing is looking at my own PowerPoint and talking to it without seeing anyone at all. So yeah, if there are any issues in terms of if you can't see the slides or can't hear me properly, please type it in the chat, and Rebecca would be able to assist you. So yeah, chai brewing, which is a delicious journey of spices, and that's with us, the Brew Story. Now, as you would know, chai has, of course, black tea and a lot of spices added to it. As I mentioned earlier, the spices are there for a reason. There has been like ancient Indian medicine called Ayurveda. Ayurveda uses the everyday foods, spices, plants, herbs to extract their flavors, also their essential health properties and essential oils, so that those properties are helpful for our health. Usually the spices are used for the health system of our GIT tract or gastrointestinal tract or metabolic health. So chai is not just a drink, so it's a kind of a health beverage as well, and it also has quite a lot of ritual to it. So chai is usually made by boiling the tea leaves and the spices along with it, and this boiling method is quite important because it actually helps to extract all the flavors and the essential oils, especially from the spices and also the tea. Now, tea, as we are in Tea Souq, and so I'm assuming like all of you are familiar with tea and types of tea, of course, and you would know the story of how and where the tea came from. It, of course, originated in China, and early on it was used for the medicinal purposes to relieve headaches, uplifting mood, cure hangover, relieve fatigue, energy booster, and so on. Predominantly, tea has been, just used as a beverage, but also it has had culinary usages as well, and people still use it in a variety of different ways. The tea even though tea, we have different types of tea like black, green, yellow, purple, or whatever you want to call them. But it also comes only from one plant, which is the Camellia sinensis. So we don't have different types of plants for each types of tea. It's just the processing of the tea that gives its different color and different properties. Teas, of course, the tea story is varied, and you might have heard about the story of a traveling monk or a Chinese emperor. But whoever discovered the tea, they've of course done a huge, huge favor to the current world and to all the generations that have been consuming tea. But chai has had a bit of different story. Now, some say that the tea leaves or tea plantations were already in India, the northern part of India. Some say that the tea plantation or the saplings were sort of smuggled into India through India-China border. But whatever the story is, I don't know, I wasn't there at that time of course. But when Britishers were residing in India, they were the ones who sort of popularized the tea and sort of made it kind of widely available as well. Of course, they wanted to take the tea to their homeland, but some of the tea also remained in India, and then Indian people had to do their own magic and created the chai using milk, sugar, and spices in it. Before the tea leaves were discovered by Indians, a concoction of milk and spices and sugar was widely used as a Ayurvedic medicine, or people would consume these concoctions to address different ailments. But when tea leaves were introduced to them, they just added the tea leaves to these concoctions, and chai was born. Now, how to recognize chai? Now, you would know there are a variety of different chais available on the market at the moment. But when we say about authentic Indian chai, the major difference is actually in the tea. Now, there are the variety of spices can be added or not added to a chai, but a proper chai would always have a black tea which looks kind of like teas, which is called a CTC or cut curl tea. This tea is basically like black tea, but they are these tiny little black pearls. They are not the long leaves that you would see, or in the orthodox sort of the regular black tea. If you see to this image, the leaves are a bit long. The length of the leaf can differ from grades to grade, but CTC is a grade of tea, and they are usually this small little pearls. The CTC tea is not the highest grade tea. It's sort of in the processing of the tea leaves. The sort of when they're processing the tea leaves in different sort of machinery, CTC is the one who sort of gets left over. And that is what forms the basis of a good chai. So if you go to market and say, oh, there are leaves and then like bigger, longer leaves and then the spices, that's a type of tea. It wouldn't be called as an authentic Indian chai. So whenever you're going and purchasing, please have a look at the tea leaves in it, and if someone says it's authentic chai, authentic Indian chai, then it should have these kind of tea leaves, which is CTC leaves. And why is this? Because these are the parts of the tea leaves that hold the biggest flavor. So why we would boil the chai is to extract that flavor. These are the leaves that would give the bold, robust flavor to a chai, but also imparts the color, the rich golden brown color is because of these tea leaves. If you boiled a full tea leaf, the longer looking one, it might not release that much of a flavor or that much color either. The tea made from those long leaves would be slightly like beige color tea, which would taste good, no doubt, but it's just not chai. Okay? So chai importantly has that rich golden brown color, and that's very important. Now, talking about the spices, now this is I've listed a number of spices which could go in a chai. Of course, you can use or skip any of these spices. But I wanted to talk about the spices because these spices do impart sort of medicinal properties as well. And many of these spices are being researched for their medicinal properties in the Western world or the current medical sector as well. So cardamom, Indians love cardamoms, and it is used, the medicinal property that it has is to maintain the digestive health. It has widely grown in India, but also in Asia as well. And it contains 25 essential oils, which are very, very beneficial for our body. Then comes cinnamon. So cinnamon is usually like the best quality cinnamon comes from Sri Lanka, and cinnamon has been widely researched to help prevent and manage type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and so on. Cinnamon Cinnamon comes into sort of different varieties like cinnamon or cassia. Basically, they are barks of the tree, and they usually, the highest quality cinnamon does come from Sri Lanka, but is now grown in different parts of the world as well. And it also, as I said, it has really great medicinal properties, but also cinnamon has been widely used around the world, not just Asia. Then comes cloves. Cloves grows in various different parts of the world, and it has been used in dentistry for quite a number of years. It usually is a pain reliever for toothache or gum diseases. Can be used as mouth freshener as well. It's grown in mainly Bangladesh, Indonesia, India, Madagascar, Zanzibar, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Tanzania. And before invent of the toothbrushes, cloves were used to be the ones to freshen up the mouth in the morning. So who knew? And clove oil has been used in many traditional medicines around the world for various purposes, as I mentioned earlier. Now, nutmeg. Nutmeg has been the most amazing spice for its flavor, but also its aroma. It's usually grown in Indonesia and can be used for tummy upsets and anxiety. But it also can be used in perfumes and soaps as well. Once nutmeg was discovered, it's just gained popularity around the world, especially in Europe. Many of the European cuisine will have nutmeg in it and can be, grated in different sauces and whatnot. Nutmeg is, but actually not just one spice. It actually is two spices. The other one being mace. So who knew mace is actually the outer sort of a covering of a nutmeg seed. So, and mace is really, of course, beautiful looking, but also sort of a pungent, strong sort of a spice. Remember mace spray, so which is so big, so can be used. It has really strong chemical composition and can be used, of course, in food, but also the mace spray. Star anise, the most beautiful looking spice, of course. It's originated in China or Vietnam. There's a bit of debate. But the 90% of the world's star anise crop is used to extract skimic acid, a chemical used in preventing to create antiviral medications. So somehow star anise took a while to arrive in Europe, and as such, is only being used in confectionery jams, syrups, etc. But in Indian cuisine, star anise stars quite literally in various dishes, from your garam masalas to marinades and pickling, and of course chai. Fennel seeds are very well known around Europe or Mediterranean area, and it has really good medicinal properties to relieve colic pain in babies, relieves menstrual pain, anti-inflammatory, and aids digestion. In India, fennel seeds are just eaten just raw like that after a meal as a mouth freshener and as a digestive aid. It is also used widely in European countries, and some of you might know the liqueur sambuca, which is made out of fennel and tastes delicious. Ajwain, carom seeds, or bishop's weed. This is a spice which is slightly not well known as other spices. It originates in India and has an excellent calming effect on the gastrointestinal tract. It helps relieving bloating, flatulence, and indigestion as well. It can be a pain relief for arthritis, toothache, etc. Pepper is the king of spices, and it has been the most prized possession. In earlier days, it was like a sign of your social status. So only rich people could afford pepper and was worth in gold. Well, now thankfully it's not as expensive. We can use pepper in everyday cuisine or just crack pepper on top of food as well. In Ayurveda, pepper was used for its curative properties for more than a millennium, whereas in Rome it was used for culinary purpose and as preservatives for meats and pickles. Ginger has been widely used and is grown in Southeast Asia. It has a lot of medicinal properties, prevents and helps combat nausea, morning sickness, heartburn, and indigestion. It arrived in Europe around 9th century and got its foothold almost immediately. Europeans loved ginger. It used to be put in confectionery or biscuits, and it used to be kept on the table as a ginger powder, like your table salt or pepper, and somehow it got sprinkled in all the types of food and got sprinkled on beer as well, and that gave birth to ginger beer or ginger ale. Also, the story goes. Even monarchs loved ginger so much that it is said that Elizabeth I presented her dinner guests with gingerbread man shaped in his or her image. Gingerbread is staple English sweet during Christmas time, and gingerbread houses were invented by Germans. Turmeric. Turmeric has been used in India for over a millennia. In recent time, turmeric has gained quite a bit of popularity around the world, especially with the turmeric lattes. When I heard about turmeric latte being so popular, served in all fancy cafes and whatnot, I was pretty shocked, because turmeric milk or turmeric latte used to be quite a staple in Indian households. The first signs of sniffles, and mom would give a glass of turmeric latte in our hand, and we just never gave even a second thought to it. So when it became so popular, I was very amused and glad that it finally made to the world stage. But turmeric also is now widely researched and is clinically proven to have health benefits, and its main content called curcumin has a lot of medicinal properties, like it's immune boosting, used in acne or blemishes, cancer fighting, flu fighting, loosen the phlegm or the cough in your chest, and wound healing as well. Last but not the least, licorice roots. The licorice has been grown in various parts of the world. It used to be considered as a candy. Well, not as glamorous as candy, but still it was. It has the sweet and spicy taste. And we do use licorice in, of course, the confectionery, but beverages and sweets as well. It has really good medicinal properties like calming the digestive ailments, manage high blood pressure, antibacterial, antiviral, flu fighting, and hormone balancing. So all of these spices are the ones that we use in our Karak Chai brew as well, or the blend that we have created. It uses almost all these spices. And as I said earlier, they're not just there for the flavor of it, they are there for all. If you look back on all those spices, the main reason of having all those spices in a chai blend is to have that good effect on the metabolic system. If you look at this image here, you would see that the spices are broken. They are then broken on a purpose. They're just slightly sort of bashed to release their essential oils. so that when the all those essential oils can be extracted into that beverage, and you'll have a beautiful cup of tea. Talking about making the chai, the easiest and the most effective way of making a beautiful chai is by boiling method. Always use fresh tap water. Heat the water first, then add the teaspoon of the chai leaves or the blend into it. Bring it to a boil until the point that you smell all the spices and the tea boiling away in the water. Then add the milk. The milk and the water ratio is according to your preference. It could be 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, or you could have a full milk chai as well. Milk as well is your choice, dairy or non-dairy. The chai leaves or the tea leaves can take any type of milk. Once you add the milk, bring it to a gentle boil, not a very aggressive boil, but gentle rolling boil. Once that's done, switch it off and strain and serve. Sweetener is optional. As I said earlier, in our chai, we have so many different spices. The spices such as licorice and cinnamon do impart like a natural sweetness to the blend. But again, if you wanted to add any other sweetener, please go ahead and do that. Now, one thing that I would like to mention here is that honey. Now, you would have seen a lot of sticky chai, honey chai on the market. I don't know where it came from, but it definitely didn't come from India. In India or in Ayurvedic medicine, honey is never cooked or heated. So if you wanted to add honey in a chai, it's best to boil the chai all by itself, strain it into a cup, and then gently add honey into it. But we would never heat honey in an actual boiling chai in itself. So if you wanted to add honey or any other sweetener, please add it later once you have served it.
Hi, so I'm just going to pop in. We're close to running out of time, so yeah, we might just need to sorry about that. I know we had a bit of so yeah, now it's time to throw over to the chat. Does anybody have any questions about chai, or maybe about how to brew it, or how to find the best chai ingredients, for example? In the meantime, just while we're waiting for if anyone else asks questions, I've sometimes heard of people talking about chais and chai lattes. Is there a difference between those, or are they basically the same thing?
No, there's definitely a difference. Usually in cafes, if they're serving chai latte, they're basically powdered version. Sometimes, or maybe I would say most of the time, it does not even have tea leaves in it. So tea leaves, if they are like completely crushed out and made into a powder, you're losing all the essential oils and the health benefits of tea. So yeah, there's really no point in drinking that. Or mostly what you'd get as a chai latte is a blend of spiced powders and sugar. And that's about it. So it's not actually a healthy drink at all. It's good to have every now and then if you just wanted to have like a spiced milk. So what chai latte essentially would be is kind of a spiced milk rather than chai at all. So the name is a bit confusing. Like when I came here for the first time, I was really excited to see chai lattes, but then when I had it, I was like, what is this? Like, there's no tea in it at all, and it's definitely not authentic Indian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we've just got one other question from the chat, which we'll ask before we wrap up. So Carrie's asking, do you have this in book form, or maybe I suppose even if you've got it on your website? I'm sure a lot of people here would probably like to know more about these spices, or look up a bit. So do you have any more of this information available elsewhere?
I don't have it on my website, unfortunately, but that's something. If people are interested to know about this, I'll be happy to put it on the website in a blog format, or down the track we'll create a sort of a booklet or an ebook a bit later. But sorry, at the moment it's not there.
That's all right. Yeah, I think if you do put it up in the future, that'd be great because I'm sure I know I was quite interested to learn about all the different spices. I never knew there were that many. I enjoy chai, but I never knew there were that many different spices in there, and I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of other people, would like to learn about those as well. But yeah, that's pretty much time for this event. So
Mhm.
we're going to wrap up here. And again, thanks everyone for coming along to watch the Brew Story event. And yeah, feel free to check out the booth if you want to learn more about the chai and to get more information. But yeah, otherwise I will wrap up there and we'll see everyone shortly for the next presentation.
Thank you so much for
Okay,
having me here. See you then. Bye.
thank you. Bye.